Are you committed? To what? February 27, 2020 by Anna von Reitz. Recently, just the last few days, efforts by what I call Team America, my readers and our supporters worldwide, have made some truly stellar progress. One of the giant leaps is our new understanding of yet more legalese applied to both politics and what Jon Rappoport calls the fake science of psychiatry. The word is commitment. John Adams famously said that commitment is the fundamental virtue of a patriot, but in this case, the same word is being used in two other and different senses. 1. Commitment as in a financial commitment, debt, or obligation, and 2. Commitment as in being committed to a sanatorium or inpatient mental health care facility. As I reported some months ago, we are seeing a rash of sudden and gigantic tax bills being presented by the IRS and other incorporated entities, and we noted that unlike any other such charges in the past, these Billings, Liens, etc., plainly reference assertions that the debtor is pledged or made a pledge, resulting in the referenced charges. Pledging is an ancient feudal act in which a serf pledges fealty to a sovereign, and it is utterly foreign to the American form of government. So, you, as an American, would never naturally have any reason or cause to be pledged or to make a pledge, would you? No. The plain fact of the matter is that the result of the War of Independence left you the sovereign of this land and soil. So what is going on here? The great fraud. Someone else has pledged you and acted for you to obligate you in this manner, and conveniently, never told you a word about it. First they committed you in the hospital sense of the word as a ward of the British territorial state of state, instead of recognizing you as an American. Then, they committed you financially as a ward of their state of state organization. They unlawfully, illegally, immorally, and in gross breach of trust pledged you, and everything you own, as chattel backing their debts. And that is why you are getting these huge out-of-the-blue tax bills referencing pledges you never made. They defaulted, and so, their creditors are coming after you. It's like you co-signed a loan for Cousin Bubba, without knowing that you did so. 20 years later some third party shows up and says, the balance on this is due and owing. So notice it all hinges on this one word, commitment. Are you committed as a patriot? Claiming your birthright political status as an American? Or are you committed as a ward of the British territorial state of state and knowingly and voluntarily acting as a U.S. citizen? Or are you committed financially as a person, that is, as a municipal citizen of the United States? Interestingly, all these so-called courts have no actual valid contract with you or relevant valid cause to presume any of what they are presuming about you. They are bluffing and acting under color of law. So how do you call them on it? Obviously, by reclaiming your political status as an American, most likely you are not and never were a British territorial U.S. citizen, the political status of someone born in Puerto Rico, and would have no reason to adopt that status, either, as it offers no benefit over your own natural state national or state citizen status. Some Americans adopt this status temporarily while in military service, but once they get their DD 214, most of them are anxious to return home to civilian status. You have to declare and record your choice of political status. And that requires affirmative action on your part. That is job one, and if you do this before you get a tax bill, the more credible and less self-serving your claim of exemption appears. So, get off your rumps and declare your political status as an American. It costs a few bucks and considerable paper pushing, but nothing compared to paying one of these default tax bills, believe me. Have your ducks and paperwork in order and be prepared to go to court. These courts are all foreign and bluffing and acting under color of law, so, getting back to how do you call them on it? Ask them if they have a wet-ink judicial warrant of commitment for the defendant? And if so, can it be brought forward as admissible evidence and placed on the public record of the court? The answer to both questions is, no. They don't and they can't. Move to dismiss, move, not motion, with prejudice for failure to state a claim upon which relief may be granted. If they avoid due process and try to latch your private property via commercial liens against their own fictitious person, send them a credit collection letter. If you think about it, they send debt collection letters to you, but what do they already owe you? Credit, which you have already earned as Joe, the hamburger man. So send a copy of their bill back to them attached to a credit collection letter. This is a simple statement to the effect that you are claiming your exemption under the public law and attempting to collect credit owed to you, and you are returning this credit collection letter as a secured third-party priority creditor for mutual offset credit exchange. Send this registered mail to entity billing you and to the appropriate officials. And who are they? If the entity billing you used acronyms or as a municipal court, like IRS or United States District Court, send your credit collection letter back to them and an original signed copy to the Vicar General responsible for your municipal district. If the entity billing you uses upper and lower case, like Internal Revenue Service or State of Michigan Circuit Court, send your credit collection letter in multiple signed originals, always using your protected signature, all rights reserved to 1. The entity that billed you, 2. The Commissioner of Natural Resources for the State of State, and 3. The State Attorney General. So they have billed you, and you have billed them, and the issue is zeroed out. The actual endgame solution to all this craziness and fraud is for you to commit to the principles of self-governance and the exercise of your natural and unalienable rights, by joining, and if necessary, organizing, your state assembly. Doing so puts teeth back into the American way and re-establishes the enforcement of the federal Constitution. It says in big, bold letters, "I am an American and I know who I am and why. I am fully committed to my State of the Union and owe no obligation or allegiance to any other foreign monarch, state, principality or power. It's up to you to settle any question about what you are committed to." Go to www.theamericanstatesassembly.net and get started today. Please consider making a small donation to help support Anna and the Living Law Firm by visiting theamericanstatesassembly.net. Scroll to the bottom and click on the Donate Now button. Thank you.